Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. For any of you that I might not have met, I'm Rick Page. I'm proud to be Dean of Larner College of Medicine. I want to welcome all of you to our celebration of excellence in research in the Larner College of Medicine, and welcome also to the throngs of people who are Zooming in and joining us today. This is an opportunity for us to highlight and celebrate research excellence. And there is so much research excellence within our college and so much that we can be proud of. This is yet one event in an amazing Excellence in Research Week, the first ever. It started with the Research Laureate talk on Monday. We went through amazing TED-type talks last night, where we have this evening's event, and then we close up with the Stetson lecture. And I hope you all have been able to attend much, if not all, of the events. And it really is thanks to Senior Associate Dean Tracy for putting this together. We'll hold our applause on that because I will have an opportunity to introduce her for a moment. I do want to acknowledge the hardest working person at UVM, Provost Prelock, who whenever there's an event, she's there. And I really appreciate, Patty, your being here. I don't know how you do it. Now, annually, we've had the opportunity to hear from Kirk Dombrowski. Kirk is gone today. He's just traveling around doing important things. But we have an upgrade, and that is in his new and our new Associate Vice President for Research, Sara Helms Cahan. Dr. Cahan is an associate professor in the Department of Biology. She's been in her role since July. We're really glad that you are in your important role. We're so glad to welcome you to this event, and we'd love to hear your words as you address the group. Please welcome Vice President Cahan.
Hello, everybody. I am Sara Helms Cahan. I'm the Associate Vice President for Research. That means I don't, go to my boss if there's a real problem, but I would love to be able to meet with and talk to all of you more going forward. I've been in this job since July 1, but I've actually been here at UVM for 19 years. And I am an evolutionary ecologist, but my work over the years has migrated more and more toward understanding mechanisms of behavior and the application of understanding those mechanisms for human epidemiological studies. So I've worked on the insect vector of Chagas disease, a neglected tropical disease in Central America, for instance. So I hope that this is an open invitation. I keep an open email policy, if that is a thing. And I'm really happy to talk to all of you about your ideas. On behalf of Kirk, who is out of town raising money for all of us as we speak, I just wanted to emphasize the view of the OVPR that the Larner College of Medicine has long been a leader in research at UVM. And really accomplishes what I consider to be the uniquely valuable contribution of an academic research institution, and that is pairing fundamental research with the application and translation of that research for real-world impacts. Honestly, the Larner College of Medicine does a fabulous job showing the rest of the university exactly how you can do that. You've got researchers that are focused on the entire pipeline from bench to bedside. And that's just a really impressive thing. You not only do what I might consider to be the traditional intervention side of biomedicine, but you actually extend the spheres of your research out into prevention and to wellness and community public health outcomes as well. I just looked over the recent research news on your website because I guess that's when you run from one meeting to another. That's the way you prepare remarks like this. And I was actually struck that this really is how the college works. So I just looked at the topic of cardiovascular health. And I saw some fundamental discoveries about the connection between the cardiovascular system and the brain. Anybody who's here who did that? Ah, perfect. Yes, that was really fascinating. And then I saw therapeutic inventions for heart failure patients. Anybody here who's doing that one? Okay. And I think it's on Mary. I think is the last one. Because then a little farther on your website, I saw research on health disparities in treatments of pulmonary embolisms. There you are. I knew you were somewhere. I knew what you looked like, but it's a sea of faces when you're up here at the front. Yeah, I mean, really the whole breadth, right? Going from just basic understanding all the way to thinking about populations of people all across the world and their vulnerabilities and susceptibilities to health problems. So that's just a really a fabulous thing. And you bring students along for the ride. From undergraduates to graduate students to postdoctoral trainees, of which there are many in this college, and medical students who get the opportunity to think about research as a career when maybe they hadn't thought about that before when they were applying to medical school. So that's really fabulous. From the perspective of the OVPR, we are fully committed to supporting your scholarly excellence in all of these areas. And we are basically trying to provide you with the background level of support so you can just go ahead and do your jobs and do the research that you want to do in as easy and flexible, but also appropriate ways to be doing that work. So we provide the guardrails in addition to the support. And so we hope to be able to provide that throughout the life cycle of a project, from developing your proposal to managing your award, to caring for your research subjects, whether they be human or animal, to regulatory compliance and making sure you are doing all the things that is going to be needed should there be an audit, and to dissemination of all of your results. And then keeping the cycle going and using your successes as a springboard to expand your network of collaborators and colleagues, both within UVM and at other institutions, and helping you to grow as your career progresses. So I want to congratulate all of you on the great work that you're doing. And I hope to hear all sorts of wonderful things about what you guys are doing this evening. Thanks very much.
Thank you for those kind words, Vice President Cahan. I next have the opportunity to provide just a very brief introduction to the person who's going to be taking through the rest of today's event, and that's Senior Associate Dean for Research, Kate Tracy. I've had some major ups and downs, perhaps. You know, COVID was a down. A lot of really high points have been in bringing in great people. Kate Tracy emerged out of a national search as the right person we felt strongly to be Senior Associate Dean for Research, following in the footsteps of that are pretty big shoes to fill in terms of Gordon Jensen, and over just 7.5 months, but who's counting, Dean Tracy has done an amazing job, and part of her success is getting to know people, getting out and about and learning about what you all do, and listening and trying to find out how she and we can provide support for you as you accomplish such amazing things in terms of biomedical science. She herself is an internationally known epidemiologist, specifically studying cervical cancer prevention among other areas of research. She has become part of the Larner family, the Larner community, since day one, and has done just a great job. And when I say family, I've got to acknowledge the fact that it makes me so happy to see family members here. So we welcome those who don't typically get to come here, and it just reminds us of the balance of our lives. So thank you for being here. Those who aren't normally at these meetings and are here, I assume, in support of loved ones who are being acknowledged. So I'll get out of your way now, Dean Tracy. And but I ask everyone please to acknowledge her for all she's done, all she's going to be doing for us. And she's now going to take us through the annual research address. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Welcome, everyone. Is this on? Okay, good. So thank you for the kind remarks and the kind words, Dean Page. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and it makes me feel a little bit humble and sheepish every time you introduce me at some of these events, because as I said last night in my talk, I'm a small town kid underneath it all, and I've traveled a really great distance to be here, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here. And welcome, that's Sandy. I met Sandy when she came in. Really glad to have her here. I want to thank Provost Prelog for being here, because you were at the talk and she gave a talk last night, an outstanding talk last night. Associate Vice President Cahan for being here as well. Before I move into the meat of the talk, I also want to give gratitude out to my planning committee, Chris Berger, Joanne McVeigh, Aaron Montgomery, Liz, and Liz Dorman. They've been an absolute fabulous team for pulling these events together this week. And they went with me when I said, hey, let's turn it into a week. Won't it be fun? Let's do this, let's do that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of that. My new friend Jason is our AV specialist. That also makes all of this go round. So let's always be grateful for our AV folks as well. And Vicky, where did Vicky go? Vicky went. It's important to have your village. So find your village, keep it strong, take good care of it. I am thrilled to be able to give you this year's research address. I'm going to move about because that's just what I do. Oh, wait, there we go. This is just another reminder that tomorrow is our capstone event for the week, the Stetson Lecture, where we'll have Dr. Stephanie Strathdee here talking about From Bog to Bedside. It's her personal account of navigating her husband's superbug infection with phage therapy. It's a fascinating story. They wrote a memoir together about it, and she's going to be here talking about that and progress in phage therapy since they endured that. And that will be our signature capstone event for the week. So I hope you all can make time to be here or Zoom in. So I thought I would orient us around sort of the vision for the college's research enterprise. Long before I got here, there was a strategic plan and there were research goals put on it. Improve the infrastructure, provide sustainable shared resources, enhance data processing and storage capabilities, focus on the current strengths and future opportunities of the college, support innovation and entrepreneurship in research, strengthen mentorship and career development for faculty, students, and trainees, and maximize faculty recruitment and retention. And so as I started up on February 1 and started a listening tour session, I focused on how are we doing on those things? And I've organized the address this year around these themes. Oh, and diversifying the funding portfolio. So research progress, what are some of our strengths to leverage? One of the things that drew me to this position was the people. I think one of our greatest strengths is our community within the College of Medicine and within the larger UVM community. This is a great place to work. It is a great place to do science. It is a great place to advance progress on some of the biggest issues facing us. Progress on the infrastructure and sustainable shared resources. This is a slide from last year about the Firestone building, but I wanted to report out the Firestone building is fully occupied at this point, bringing online more than 35,000 net square feet of modular research space to support dynamic team-based science. It is a model for shared and collaborative research spaces. Level 1 houses our Center for Biomedical Shared Resources, which are the Microscopy Imaging Center, Proteomics Center, Flow Cytometry, and the Vermont Integrated Genomics Resource. Level 2 is the Vermont Lung Center. Level 3 is the University of Vermont Cancer Center. And level 4 is the Vermont Center for Cardiovascular and Brain Health, one of our COPRA grants. How are we doing in enhancing data capabilities? We are collaborating with the University of Vermont Health Network to ease data sharing and research protection challenges so that we can do more clinically oriented research. We are fortunate enough in my first 100 days to write a grant in collaboration with Dr. Gary Stein, and that grant was awarded, and we'll soon be launching the project to design a research data enclave that will aggregate and curate disparate data sources for research purposes. And we will be establishing an epidemiology, biostatistics, and data science core that is related to that initiative as well. Mentoring and professional development. I heard a lot about this when I interviewed. I heard a lot about it during my listening sessions when I first arrived. One of the things that we're doing in partnership with Dean Rebecca Wilcox, who is the Dean of Faculty, is to establish an Office of Professional Development and Engagement. We have a lot of terrific resources actually here on campus for professional development and career development. The downside is they're scattered and owned by a bunch of different units. And if you don't know where they are, you don't know where they are or how to access them. So our intention is to nurture the professional development of our community by creating a concierge-style office that facilitates identification and access to the rich professional development resources that are here for faculty, fellows, students, and staff. We want it to be a hub for resources and programming to foster success in an academic research institution. And we think that one-to-one contact will be particularly beneficial. And I workshop these ideas before I talk about them publicly, and I've workshopped this notion of the concierge. It's a big hit. So we hope in actuality it will be. And I love that it's a collaboration with Dr. Wilcox. We're hoping this will get launched in the next couple of months so we can have this launched before the close of 2023. Recruitment and retention. We got some new faculty. We hired 1 faculty scientist, 2 assistant professors, 4 associate professors, and 2 full professors in the last, not quite a year since the last address was. In leadership positions, we hired a new director of health services research. Our research center, Dr. Erica Ziller, she's an associate professor of medicine in the Division of Public Health, and she was previously the director of the University of Southern Maine's Rural Health Center. And me. I know, a little shameless self-promotion. We've continued with our research incentive plan, which is the college budgeting upwards of $1 million per year. That's an incentive-based percentage of the total F&A brought in by each qualified faculty member. It can be used either as unrestricted funds for research or as additional pay, and we're continuing to monitor outcomes with that through the faculty working group. That is also a big hit. Progress on diversifying the funding portfolio. This is what we really came for, right? Is how are we doing on the real? This year, the College of Medicine brought in $94.4 million in research funding. We successfully competed for 317 extramural awards in fiscal year 23. That accounted for 41% of all of the research funding brought into the University of Vermont in fiscal year 23. So round of applause for that, because that's good. Well done. And just to sharpen it a little bit more, of UVM's 53 grants that are of $1 million or more, 25 of those were held by LCOM faculty. And this is the list here. So round of applause for the folks on the list here. We also continue to be incredibly productive in putting out and disseminating our science. Larner College of Medicine researchers put out more than 1,100 peer-reviewed papers in highly respected journals in 2022. And we are on track, I think, to probably exceed that in 2023. We only have data through the first, a little over the first week of September. So we're doing well with that as well. We continue to have really amazing centers of biomedical research excellence, as well as the clinical and translational research program. The Vermont Center on Behavior and Health was awarded its phase 3 funding under Steve Higgins. The Translational Global Infectious Disease Research COBRA was awarded phase 2 funding under Beth Kirkpatrick's leadership. The Vermont Center for Cardiovascular and Brain Health under the leadership of Mark Nelson and Mary Cushman is third year, Mary? Fourth year of its first round of funding. And the Northern New England Clinical and Translational Research Network under Gary Stein's leadership is in its second epic of 5 years of funding. So round of applause for those. The Cancer Center. The Cancer Center is vigorously pursuing its recapture of NCI designation. From 2021 to 2023, they've experienced a 37% increase in total cancer-focused peer-reviewed funding and a 62% increase in their overall NCI funding. So as I haven't seen Randy here. I think we are on track and very strong for submitting the application that will be reviewed to restore our designation in fall of 2026. All right,
Plan.
that's the plan. So I think things are looking very good for that. Graduate student research. We are a teaching organization, so we have a lot of students that are engaged in the research enterprise of the College of Medicine. So we currently have training grants in complex systems and data science related to neurobiology of drug use, which is led by Hugh Garavan, training in behavioral pharmacology of drug abuse, training grant led by Steve Higgins, the Vermont Immunology and Infectious Diseases training grant led by Gary Ward, the multidisciplinary training in lung biology led by Matt Pointer, and also the CMB graduate assistance in areas of national need training grant led by Matt. Uh-oh. Jason. I broke it. I think I've clicked down when I should have clicked to the side.
Oh, yeah, you have it back.
Thank you. We have 6 individual fellowships secured by PhD students that are in Larner labs. We have 100 graduate students conducting research in Larner labs, and PhD students are working in Larner labs that contributed 54 peer-reviewed papers in the last year. So a round of applause for all that student productivity. And a shout out to every single faculty member, staff member, support person who helps make that possible, because it does take a village to get this kind of productivity. So great work out of the mentors and the coworkers as well. We also have a lot of action with our medical students. If student participation continues to increase in research in the college, in the summer of 2023, we had 51 medical students that were funded by the college, by the Cardiovascular Research Institute, or the Cancer Center to do mentored research. And the summer research joint poster session for those students will occur on October 26th from 11 to 2 in the Hale Gallery, Given Courtyard Hallway, and Sullivan Classroom Foyer. So a lot of great stuff going on with our student populations as well. And shout out, I'm sorry, I didn't shout out Chris Berger, who is over our graduate education programs, and Renee, who is our Director of Medical Student Research. Okay, so I've been so nervous about this part. This is my favorite part of the whole presentation. That, my friends, is what it's all about. And I was so happy. I have to give yet another shout out to the medical communications team, because I went to them and I said, you know, I'd really like a highlights reel. And they're like, what does that mean? And so there's a bunch of back and forth. And I was like, okay, let us take a stab. And they put a 20-second clip of some stuff together, and it had the music, and I love the music. And it was such a fantastic way, I think, to showcase much, much more than I as a speaker. You don't need to hear me droning on and on and on, right? But isn't it wonderful to be able to highlight and spotlight in sort of a quick way all of the fantastic work that's getting done? And I know that doesn't represent everybody, and I've already been churning on, you know, success is never final. How do we sort of be able to include more as we move forward? So this is just a sampling, and I want to continue to celebrate you, not just today, but every day, really. And so I'm going to look for you guys to keep me looped in on the great accomplishments that you have, because I want to be shouting it out and celebrating it as much as we can. I also want to give a shout out to the first ever Kate Tracy, Senior Associate Dean for Research, Research Advisory Council. These wonderful souls have agreed to serve for the next, well, until the close of the fiscal year, and then they might all want to flee. As my advisory council. So Jan Carney, Julie Dumas, Kala Freeman, Eric Gagnon, Steve Goldman, Ramsey Harrington, Yvonne Jansen Heiniger, Deborah Kamamu-Katz, Aaron Montgomery, Kristen Pierce, Princess Ramirez, Mayor Reblin, Renee Stapleton, Doug Todges, Mike Toth, and Leslie Young. We had a kickoff meeting in June and took this fabulous photo. And they have been a wonderful addition to me getting to know the community and how we might address some of the needs and strategies. Their specific charge is for me to be patient, is to review and revise plans for ongoing research priorities, provide input into the creation of a college research roadmap that will align with the objectives of Vision 2025, and assist in the development of a space governance handbook, including models and policy recommendations for space allocation, and recommending new research initiatives. So get to know the council members, talk to them, share your ideas with them, because they will share them within the context of the council meeting, and then we'll be evaluating progress related to the research initiatives and priorities. I think at this point in the program, we move to the awards ceremony. I'm going to All right. So this is an award that we actually gave earlier in the week, the 2023 UVM Medical Alumni Association Distinguished Graduate Alumni Award went to Dr. Andres Stevenson, Biology and Sociolinguistics from the University of Vermont. He's the Global Senior Director for Medical and Scientific Affairs at Merck & Company. As a researcher in Professor Mark Nelson's lab, Dr. Stevenson focused on calcium signaling and vascular smooth muscle to gain a better understanding of myogenetic tone and blood vessel regulation. Andre gave a great talk earlier in the week, well attended, and he's just a fantastic guy. So round of applause for Andra. Our next awards are for Graduate Student Research Showcase. Are you doing this? Okay, sorry. We didn't practice.
Thank you, Kate. So in our first award here is going to go to the Graduate Student Junior Division. In first place, we have Allie Morrissey. Allie, you want to come up and get your award, please?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And our runner-up is Jamie Wilbach. Jamie, are you
Hang in
here?
Here, we should- we're a little off center. Sorry. Sorry, problem.
And then in the graduate student senior division, first place goes to Shannon Pryor. And runner-up goes to Jennifer Oshita. Jennifer, are you?
Jennifer here?
Okay, I don't think Jennifer's here.
Yay, Jen.
And then in the first time ever in the medical school student division, first place goes to Samuel Aldos. Samuel, I know the med students are a bit challenged with their schedules. So
Round of applause for
round of
Samuel.
and runner-up goes to Kiara Goodell.
Or pick it back up. The next award is the Medical Student Outstanding Research Publication. And that award goes to Samuel Short, whose mentor is Mary Cushman, for Plasma Pro Encaphalon A and Incident Cognitive Impairment, the reasons for geographic and racial differences in stroke cohort. Is Samuel here?
No, he's in North Carolina.
Well, there you go. Would you like to accept it? Why don't you come accept on his behalf? Let's hear it for Samuel. He's in clinic. Our next award is Graduate Student Outstanding Research Publication, Evan Hoffman, mentor Daniel Weiss. For human alveolar hydrogels promote morphological and transcriptional differentiation in iPSC, derived alveolar type 2 epithelial cells. Can you tell I'm a psychologist? I stumble on all the sciencey words. Is Evan here? Well, come on down. More celebrating. I love it. His success is your success. Right?
It's not a puppy.
Congratulations.
All right, great.
You're welcome.
Thank you. both.
Thanks. Yes. Next award is Outstanding Research Publication, Elizabeth Corticelli, mentor of Von Jensen Heiniger, for structural and functional fine mapping of cysteines in mammalian glutaredoxin, reveal the differential oxidation susceptibility. Is Elizabeth here? I know Yvonne is traveling, so round of applause. Outstanding Resident Publication for Colleen Kerrigan, nominated by Thomas Ahern and Michelle Sowden, for ultrasound for the objective measurement of breast lymphatedema. Helene? And is Tom? I haven't seen Tom. Round of applause. This year's Clinical Research Coordinator Award goes to Kim Lubers, nominated by Gary Stein. I don't think I've seen. Oh, there you are. Come on. What is supposed to go? I like this, man. Good to see you. Thank you. Congratulations. The Dean's Excellence Award for Scientific Research Laboratory Staff goes to Nicole Buffard for Pathology and Laboratory Medicine, nominated by Doug Todges. Congratulations. The Dean's Excellence Award for Clinical Trials Research goes to Charlotte Tenneback, Pulmonary Disease and Critical Care Medicine, nominated by Nan Dixon. No, you're fine. Congratulations. The Dean's Excellence in Research Award for Mentorship goes to none other than Christopher Berger, Molecular Physiology Biophysics, nominated by Dave Warshaw. Surprise! Congratulations. We almost blew it a bunch of times. Congratulations, Chris. The Dean's Excellent in Research Award, we had an unusual situation this year where we had 3 outstanding rising stars and we chose to acknowledge each of them. So our first rising star is Osama Haraz, Pharmacology, nominated by Mark Nelson. Osama. Congratulations. Our next rising star is Sherry Kadanga, Cardiovascular Medicine, nominated by Phil 80s. And our next rising star is Christian Pulcini, Emergency Medicine, nominated by Renee Stapleton. You're welcome. Congratulations. Congratulations. The Dean's Excellence Award for Mid-Career Investigator, Associate Professor is Noah Kolb, Neurological Sciences, nominated by Gregory Helms. And this year's Dean's Research Laureate Award goes to Hugh Garavan from the Department of Psychiatry, nominated by Robert Altoff. I believe is Rob here? He's not able to be here, and I didn't see Rob. Is Rob here? So let's hear it for. I'm supposed to make closing remarks now, right? Anyway, it is such a pleasure to be with all of you here today, celebrating the many successes in the Larner College of Medicine. And it is an absolute privilege of my professional life to be your Senior Associate Dean for Research. So thank you for welcoming me into such a wonderful community. Thank you for sharing with me so openly the ideas that you have and the aspirations that you have for the college and for our research enterprise. I love being here and I look forward to the great things that we'll do together. So with that,
We have a party.
we have a party. There will eat, drink, be merry, enjoy each other's company, ask interesting questions, explore the possible.